Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Ahakwath, and Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathen. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this wild weather hitting Australia. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says a once-in-5-year storm smashing Perth and Western Australia could sweep over the eastern states later this week. The western coastline has been battered by a low that has brought wind gusts of nearly 130 kilometers an hour and 60 millimeters of rain to parts of the state. The Bureau of Meteorology said Perth could face 30 millimeters of rain and severe thunderstorms, with Perth Stadium being smashed by 12 millimeters of rain in just 10 minutes overnight. The wind is expected to be at its peak about 7 p.m., with gusts potentially reaching 90 kilometers per hour in Perth. Weather Zone warns a massive swath of the coastline from Lancelin to Albany is in the firing line for the huge wind gusts. Heavy showers, isolated thunderstorms, and significant winds are expected to continue across the southwest, including Perth, with conditions likely to worsen this afternoon and evening as the low and its associated cold front move through, Weather Zone's Yoska Hernandez said. Damaging surf may also cause coastal erosion and localized damage along exposed parts of the WA coast. She also warned the rest of Australia could soon be in the path of the storm. The system will march east and bring a spell of wintry weather to SA, Victoria, Tasmania, and NSW through the late this week, including strong to damaging winds, heavy showers, isolated thunderstorms, and alpine snow. The Lancelin Sands Hotel owner Glenn Treble took matters into his own hands today, loading 25 tons of sand into bags. Said we'll basically crane them over the side and drop them down, put them in place. He told 9 News. His hotel sits just meters from the ocean, along a stretch of coastline already scarred by erosion. So we lost 35 meters last year, and already so far this year we've come close to about 10 meters that we've lost, he said. It's not just Lancelin on edge. Coastal communities from Kalbarri to Esperance are bracing for huge swells and potential flooding as the storm bears down on WA. The impacted area may expand over the weekend as it's an evolving weather situation, according to the Bureau of Meteorology. Across the state, operators are taking no chances over the forecasted conditions, with Rottnest ferry services canceled today. Several campgrounds have been closed, but others are open, and some campers are choosing to stay at their own risk. Meteorologist Yana Cherney said there will likely be a second burst of very strong winds with a risk of locally destructive gusts across Sunday evening into Monday morning for communities from Lancelin to Albany. Severe thunderstorms could also develop through the central west and extending through to the lower west. In addition to those winds and rain, which we could see the thunderstorms, we may also see some very localized tornadoes, which, if they develop, would be very fast moving and short lived. The message from authorities is to secure loose items, stay away from dangerous surf, and check in on vulnerable neighbors as the system moves through. Yeah, so once again, the Lord is sending them storms and tempests, just as the scriptures say that He would. Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And the Lord is currently visiting Western Australia with tempest, violent windy storms. Salakia. That's why, I keep saying that there is no getting around the validity of these scriptures. Because the things written in these scriptures is coming to pass. Isaiah 28:2. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which has a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And out there in Australia, in Western Australia, the Lord is sending that storm. He's sending the rain, and it could cause flooding depending on how much rain they get and where the rain is hitting. Because if the areas where the rain is falling have poor to no drainage, then there's nowhere for the water to go. And then it's just going to build up. And then, also when I was reading that article, that, those people who were camping and they decided to stay, some people heard, oh yeah, there's like a windstorm or whatever that's, gonna bear down on us, so we should leave. And then you have other people who decided they wanted to stay, and that's the thing. If something happens to those people who decided to stay, their loved ones are gonna be crying about it, but it's like, why would you cry? They were stupid and decided that they wanted to stay. Like, they knew what was coming. They got the warning just like everybody else did, and they decided to stay. So if anything happens to them, that's on them. That's the world we live in. You have some people that will heed the warnings and, try to get out of the way. And then you have other people that don't really take anything seriously. Slovakia. Wait, was that what I want? No, that's not what I want. Nope, that's not it either. Hang on. Psalms 11:6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. And I have the definition of tempest here. It says a tempest is a violently windy storm, often accompanied by rain, hail, or snow. And that's what Western Australia is experiencing. Violent winds, rain, possibly hail or snow even. So once again, there is no getting around the validity of these scriptures. Psalm 79:6. pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. And Australia is one of those places where there's a bunch of heathens, wicked people out there, and those people out there do not call upon the names of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. So the Lord's wrath is being poured out upon them. Psalms 83:14, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. Verse 15, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. And that's it, clearly what the Lord is doing. Dishing out these storms and tempests to make people afraid and to punish them. And like I've said before, as we get closer and closer to summer and the weather gets warmer, these storms and tempests are going to become a lot more frequent, a lot more intense, a lot more destructive, and a lot deadlier. And that is just how it is. Those who are smart, those who are wise, when they get those warnings, they'll do what they have to do. And the simple-minded people will ignore the warnings and they'll get punished for it. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakakwadash. The Wadi Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath. And shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. And Adawan Ratzazah. Till next time, shalom.